The Subaru Loves to Care campaign is a major pillar of the Subaru Love Promise initiative, founded in 2011 to support and nurture ailing local communities in the United States. Subaru has already raised and spent more than $100 million for charity and still hasn't stopped giving this year. The company sponsors plenty of charities, from the Special Olympics to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. One of Subaru's oldest partnerships is with Meals on Wheels, an organization dedicated to delivering food to senior citizens all over America. Subaru has been with Mo for 9 years, contributing nearly $12 million and providing almost 2 million meals nationwide, but apparently, this still isn't enough. Subaru of America announced Tuesday that it will donate 50 2018 Subaru Outbacks to 50 Meals on Wheels locations to celebrate its 50th year of operations in the United States. With this massive fleet of wagons in Mo's hands, Subaru predicts that the charity will be able to deliver an additional 53,000 meals to seniors across the U.S. This generous vehicle donation will have an immediate and indelible impact on local Meals on Wheels programs and the seniors they serve, many of whom live in rural, remote and difficult-to-reach places, stated Meals on Wheels CEO Ali Hollander. This further underscores Subaru's commitment to giving without desire to receive, as there is no sales event attached to this donation. Subaru of America thinks that this is best and most appropriate way for it to celebrate its semi-centennial birthday, and make the world a better place, one SUV at a time.
No, it's not the ST. Anyone who purchases the 2018 Subaru WRX will have to get familiar with that phrase and the mild disappointment that elicits. I sure did during my week-long test drive. Is it fair to begin a review of the WRX in the shadow of its high-performance counterpart? No, absolutely not. However, considering that is where it lives, it wouldn't be right to start anywhere else. Like the ST, the WRX began as a sporty package on an already popular model, the Impreza sedan. That is, until 2014 when it was broken off to live as an independent nameplate in the US. However, by that point, it had already developed a cult following of its own, one that, unlike the rest of Subaru's granola-crunching outdoor lovers, is more focused on what a symmetrical all-wheel drive system can do on road rather than off. The WRX has become one of the best-selling, purpose-built sports sedans in the country, and for good reason. It's fun, safe, well-crafted and still available at a reasonable price. While some car lovers like to bash Subaru's performance fanbase, driving a WRX is well worth the stigma. Subaru's design team has come a long way from the doldrums of the mid-aughts when it was cranking out boxy Impreza sedans with comically large trunk-lid spoilers and towering hood scoops. That the WRX appeared to be a Japanese economy car wearing a ridiculous body kit only fueled the annoyance of skeptics and gave true believers another chip on their shoulders. More than a decade later, today's WRX still stands out in a crowd, but in a much less polarizing fashion. The hood is powerfully unsmooth and features a less prominent, though still gaping, opening that sucks cooling air into the boxer engine below. An angular front lip juts out to further solidify its sporty appearance, while indentations along both sides and deep-set headlights give it a sort of gaunt look. Inside, my WRX premium test vehicle nailed the raw checker aesthetic thanks to a $2,050 performance package, which brought Recaro seats with black suede insets flanked by side bolsters clad in red and black leather. Also feeding into the illusion were the steering wheel, with its flat bottom, thumb grips in red, contrast stitching, and the Swiss cheese-like aluminum alloy pedal covers. A boost gauge above the infotainment screen served no practical purpose for me, but it certainly matched the motif. There's nothing glamorous about the WRX's design, but there's also nothing cheap. Everything feels purposeful and thought out, creating an overall package that conveys a simple message: this is a car for drivers. When I was a kid, my parents found this high-back love seat at a garage sale, had it reupholstered and put it on display in our living room. I say on display because they refuse to let this wood trim diamond in the rough be destroyed by the lounging bodies of their 3 growing boys. This was a piece for impressing company, so it was sat upon correctly or not at all. It was just as well because it was only comfortable when paired with perfect posture. Inside the WRX, the Recaro front seats were more enjoyable to sit on than my parents' love seat, yet they too were not conducive for sprawling about or reclining. Like most Rochecker-inspired chairs, Subaru built these not for comfort but for speed. If you like being propped up for an optimal view of the road and position to make quick adjustments, you'll enjoy this cockpit and the ergonomic support the driver's seat applies to your spine. However, if you prefer to pull the seat back and slouch while you drive, you might want to explore other options. Rear passengers get treated to ultra-suede upholstery as well, and, as far as sporty sedans go, few offer a more spacious back seat than the WRX. At one point during my time with WRX, I had 2 adult passengers on the back bench, both women of above average height, and they reported plenty of legroom and no discomfort during the hour they were back there. Subaru has pretty much done away with buttons in the WRX's center stack, opting, instead, to bake most things into the 7-inch touchscreen or into the touch-sensitive casing around it. Thankfully, it has kept knobs to control both volume and station tuning, functions that have yet to be properly translated into a digital interface. I wish the tuning knob and seat buttons weren't so far away from the driver's seat. I understand the need for symmetry, and sure, I could flip channels using the steering wheel controls, but sometimes I prefer surfing the old-fashioned way. If you do too, you might find the layout a bit frustrating as well. Speaking of the steering wheel, Subaru was not shy with the controls in that department. With buttons for cruise control, hands-free calling, cycling through the digital information display and more, the world is at the driver's fingertips. Subaru overloaded the left side of the steering wheel, but I'm okay with that. Some automakers feel the need for absolute balance, to the point of installing fake buttons, and that's too much vanity for my liking. Looking at a list of specifications, the WRX's cargo capacity does not impress. Measuring 12 cubic feet of trunk space, it is below average even for a small sedan. However, the numbers don't tell the full story. Some people enjoy expensive things, but I prefer a good deal. In my opinion, there's not a better 4-letter word in the English language than FREE, so when a friend told me her neighbor was giving away a kitchen table and chairs just hours after I scavenged a second-hand store in vain for a well-priced set, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. My girlfriend and I folded the WRX's back seat, took the legs off the table and stacked the 4 chairs in sets of 2. Believe it or not, it all fit inside with relative ease and saved me a couple $100 and the hassle of trekking down to IKEA. Subaru makes plenty of high-capacity vehicles that can fit bikes, large hiking backpacks, tents and the like. The WRX is not one of those vehicles, but don't despair, it's still utilitarian enough to get you of a gem. Subaru's Starlink interface has all the amenities of a modern infotainment system, Bluetooth connectivity, an XM radio receiver, apps that stream music and find nearby attractions, connective software for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and so on. A voice-activated navigation system is available in the WRX Limited, but other apps can be used to display on-screen directions in lower trim packages. You just have to punch the address in manually. Graphically, the operating system looks a bit dated compared to FCA's Uconnect system, GM's SmartLink and Honda Link, but it gets the job done. 2 safety-oriented technology packages are available for the WRX. Safety Plus, which is free for the first year and $99 annually after that, includes automatic crash notifications, SOS calling, roadside assistance and vehicle diagnostic services. It's, essentially, a Subaru-specific version of OnStar. The Safety Plus and Security Plus package costs $49 for the first year and $149 after that. It includes a stolen vehicle recovery feature, remote locking and other protectionist functions. Owners who subscribe to these services can access them through the My Subaru app as well as the Subaru Starlink app, both of which are available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Plenty of small sedans are more tech-savvy than the WRX, but most of them aren't nearly as much fun to drive. Enthusiasts will be glad Subaru focused more time and money on improving performance than making a cutesy infotainment display. Subaru has endeared itself to parents and others who have bought its SUVs, crossovers and hatchbacks in recent years because of the company's dedication to safety. Some WRX customers might not hold that commitment in such high regard, but they certainly should. For the past 3 years, since it broke away from the Impreza, the WRX has earned a top safety pick designation from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. In 2016, it was named the Top Safety Pick Plus, the highest recognition the independent watchdog organization can bestow, and it seems the only reason it didn't repeat on that front was because of a moderate rating on the headlight examination, which has been something of a sticking point for the IIHS during its latest round of testing. In addition to building strong, protective frames for its cars, Subaru also has developed a formidable suite of advanced driver assistance technologies. The EyeSight package includes adaptive cruise control, automatic braking and lane departure warnings, but they are all exclusive to the limited trim level and add $2,600 to its $31,000 base price. I'm not a fan of Subaru's stinginess when it comes to driver assistance features, but I'm willing to forgive it. Also, it's worth noting that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the government's in-house safety regulator, has never tested the WRX individually. But, considering the Impreza has earned a 5-star overall rating every year since 2013, I feel recommending the WRX anyway. Subaru is to 4-cylinder engines what Jeff Gagliardi is to the Etch-A Sketch, an artist making masterpieces in malign medium. While other automakers toil away with straight, vertical alignments, Subaru splits its cylinders into the horizontal configuration that we know as the boxer engine, allowing for direct power delivery to all 4 wheels to create Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. The 2.0-liter engine inside the WRX makes 268 horsepower, but it feels like substantially more than that because that output is direct, unfettered and boosted by a twin-scrolling turbocharger. Subaru's all-wheel drive system also does wonders for traction, hugging the road and staying composed, even when driving over puddles, of which I hit a few during my rainy week with the WRX. In that sense, it helps performance and safety, Subaru's 2 sweet spots. My test vehicle was equipped with a 6-speed manual transmission, which I highly recommend. The shifter is tall and slides nicely from gear to gear. The alternative is Subaru's Lineartronic continuously variable transmission, which I do not have personal experience with. It offers paddle shifters and simulated 6 and 8-speed settings, but so far I have yet to encounter a CVT that's as rewarding as the real thing, and it'd be a shame not to experience the power of the boxer engine firsthand. Fuel economy was the WRX's Achilles heel during my test drive, as I averaged just 22 mpg, slightly better than its alleged city average of 21 mpg. I'll take some of the heat for being a little aggressive on the accelerator, but the EPA rates the WRX at 27 mpg on the highway, so there's clearly a disconnect between projections and reality. Absent a track to roll my lone WRX onto, I took to the next best thing at my disposal, the vacant but well-maintained state park roads in New York's lower Hudson River Valley. Cruising down the sweeping curves and straightaways, I couldn't help but smile at the rush of acceleration and the purr of the engine, even without driving excessively fast. A stiff, low-slung suspension keeps the WRX close to the ground, which is great for cutting drag and maintaining traction, but things can get a little jolty when pavement is coarse or cracked. I'd recommend swerving potholes whenever possible, but, for the most part, the ride inspires confidence and made me feel happier for having driven. When it comes to sports cars, few sell better than the Subaru WRX, and it's easy to see why. It's a bona fide performance vehicle with amenities and a sticker price fit for everyday use. My test vehicle, in premium trim with a performance package add-on, rings up at $32,205 after an $860 destination fee. If I wanted to really live up to the Subaru stereotype, I could have a kicker subwoofer thrown in the trunk for an extra $500 I still wouldn't be breaking. However, there is one significant knock on WRX, and that's in the service department. Subaru makes all of its cars overseas, so they are typically costlier to service and parts are more expensive to replace. The Subaru WRX also had the worst score in the compact car segment of J.D. Power and Associates' most recent initial quality study, so you might need to budget some extra money for repairs. Overall, the WRX is a fun, safe car with a surprising amount of utility. If you don't mind spending a little extra money on repairs or getting a little greasy yourself, this might be the car for you.